So for today's video, I want to talk about fighters who own their division. Now, by own their division, I mean champions in each UFC weight class that basically are untouchable within their respective weight class. Like nobody else in their weight class can beat them. I want to identify those champions for you guys and talk about why I think they own their division. So let's get started. So I'm going to start with the flyweights. The champion of the flyweights is Alexandre Pantoja, and I have been saying for some time now that he owns his division. He owns the flyweight division. His style of fighting is just unbeatable when it comes to the other flyweights, because and it has everything to do with his chin. I've said it time and time again. His chin is some type of vibranium, titanium metallic mixture. That's how strong his chin is. He's been able to eat so many shots from so many opponents and just keep marching forward, going for single and double legs and dragging his opponents to the ground and dominating them there, landing the occasional overhand or hook, but for the most part just dominating his opponents on the ground. And that's when you get when he fights. That's when you get when you fight a lot of boxing heavy fighters too, because that's what the flyweight division is. Like a lot of the fighters in the flyweight division are, really good boxers. They've got ground game, but I just feel like Pantoja's ground game compared to theirs is just levels higher. So Pantoja owns his division. I know. They've got a fighter that the UFC just got from Rizin, a different fighting organization, and this fighter is Kai Asakura, who's a legend at the Rizin fight organization, and he's coming over to the UFC, and he's immediately challenging for the belt. Don't know why, but he is. So he's going to fight Alexandre Pantoja, and I feel like it's a good matchup for Pantoja, and I think Pantoja will dominate that fight as well and continue to own his division. So yes, Alexandre Pantoja owns his division. Next up, we move to bantamweight. In bantamweight is Merab Dvalishvili. Merab, we all saw him dominate Sugar Sean O'Malley recently at UFC Noche. He won convincingly. Sugar Sean is still in denial. It's very humiliating and sad for him to still be like that, but he is. But either way, Merab dominated him, and somehow he still wants a rematch against O'Malley. So I guess that will happen in March of 2025. We just got to wait and see. But no, I would say Merab does not own his division. The reason why is because of one person, and that is Umar Nurmagomedov. I think Umar can cause Merab some problems on the ground, and as great as Merab is on the ground, I think Umar and that whole Dagestani wrestling and grappling style is truly unbeatable and very scary to go up against. That being said, I said recently too, Merab still has a good chance of winning because of his cardio. His cardio is unlike any fighter I've ever seen, and his ability to just keep going and going and going is something that can really just overwhelm anybody. So he still has a fighting chance against Umar. I just think Merab doesn't truly own his division yet because he's got to face a guy with a style that is like Umar's, that heavy Dagestani grappling, wrestling, destruction type style. And I think Umar has that, and that will be Merab's final test before I can say that he truly owns his division. Yes, O'Malley can knock him out too, but I think Merab's style is just a bad night for O'Malley in general when comparing their two styles. So that's why I would say, Merab still owns his division, or still would own his division, despite me thinking O'Malley would knock him out if they were to fight again. I think, if Merab were to beat if Merab were to beat Umar, I would then consider him to be the owner of his division, aka the bantamweight division. So yeah, I think Merab still has to beat Umar before I can say that he owns his division. Next up is the featherweights, and the champion of the featherweights right now is Ilia Topuria, and I would say undoubtedly Ilia Topuria owns his division. he owns that division. I am so secure and solid in that statement because of the fighter he is. He's excellent on the ground. He's got excellent boxing, and he is literally the mini Spanish Francis Ngannou in terms of his striking power. He's got so much power in his hands that when he connects on you, you're going to sleep. I don't care what round it is. I don't care how much you've trained your neck and chin. If he connects, you're going to sleep. What I saw him do against Volk, while very upsetting, it was it was amazing. I mean, it was amazing. Upsetting for me because I'm a super Volk fan, but still very amazing and shows just how powerful this motherfucker is. So he owns his division. I think anybody in the featherweights, even Aljamain Sterling, who's in there, and I think Aljamain will get a title shot soon. I think Ilya beats Aljamain too. And Aljamain has great grappling, and that's what he really heavily relies on, is taking the back and working from the back. He could get Ilya's back, but he has to really just get through the power and the smooth boxing of Ilya first to even get to his back. So I don't even think Aljamain gets that far, and he'll probably get clipped early, just like he got clipped by O'Malley. So yeah, Ilya owns his division. Next up, the lightweights. Islam Makhachev is the champion there, and yes, I believe Islam Makhachev, we can all safely say Islam Makhachev owns his division. He's been tested time and time again by the UFC's top fighters, and he is the complete Russian fighter. He's got the Dagestani grappling style, dominant and undefeated in that respect, and then he is a really, really good striker. He knows how to go back and forth with the best of them. He was going punch for punch with Volk, and he went punch for punch with Dustin Poirier, that was, training his ass off and was ideally going to look to this fight as his last fight. Islam was hanging with him on the feet, and I didn't expect him to do that because Dustin is such a great boxer, but Islam showed out, and he is a complete fighter. He's got the striking, and he's got the grappling. He knows what to do on the feet, and he knows what to do on the ground. So he's complete, and I think anybody at lightweight, as great as all the lightweight fighters are, and lightweight is one of the most, if not the most entertaining weight class in the UFC, I think Islam beats them all. He's just really that good. Unless, these fighters were to change weight classes, I consider the fighters who I've said own the division to truly own their division. But yeah, Islam owns his division. He owns the lightweight division. And that's all I really got to say on that. Next up is welterweight. We got Belal Muhammad. Belal Bully B. Muhammad recently just dominated Leon Edwards. I never really considered Leon Edwards to be a solidified or a certified champ just because of, I don't really think he's been like really, really, really tested, but he beat Usman. I'll give him that, but Belal dominated him. And Belal Muhammad definitely does not own his division, and there's only really one reason why, and it's Shavkat Rakhmonov. Shavkat is a deadly, extremely deadly fighter. He is great on the feet, not superb or excellent, but great on the feet, and his grappling is the superb or excellent thing. It is top tippity top level grappling, and his squeeze is what I've been talking about and will continue to talk about because it is really inhuman. It is like Islam Makhachev level squeeze. He doesn't really need to, get like a perfect rear naked choke in or lock. He doesn't need to lock any specific choke like directly in for him to choke you out. Like he could get something halfway there and then just squeeze and submit you like this. So, I wouldn't consider Belal Muhammad the owner of his division. I think Shavkat is really gunning for a spot, and I think he'll get it. And, I think it'll take one title defense or a couple for Shavkat for me to say that Shavkat owns his division. Because I think him and Bully B could go back and forth, depending upon how good Bully B is when he fights Shavkat. And that fight is coming up soon. So that'll be a good one. Next up, middleweight division, Dricus du Plessis. Dricus is one of these fighters, and to me, he's an anomaly. He isn't very technical. He's not technically sound, but he's a champion. He's got the heart of a champion. He's got, you know, the physique and strength of a champion. And if he was to get clipped on the feet, he'll go right down and just reach for your fucking leg and try to attempt a single leg. Like he's got heart. He's got what it takes to just keep going at you, and that's what makes him so great. Does he own his division? I think he is just on the brink of doing so. I just want to see him beat Imavov. That's really it. I think everybody else he beats pretty soundly. I just got to see that Imavov fight, because I think Imavov is it Imavov or Imavov? Let me just check. Imavov. I'm trying to pronounce his fucking name right. Yeah. So Nasruddin Imavov, who we've seen before, like his name, the French Sniper. That's his nickname. You know, I want to see him fight Dricus because I think he could catch Dricus. You know, in his famous, Dricus has a, you know, famous patented Dricus blitz he does where he runs at you and, you know, just spams overhands. And I think Imavov could snipe him. I think Imavov, the French sniper, he could send a really mean 1-2. And I know Dricus likes to duck his chin when he does it, but I think Imavov can figure something out and snipe him. And then Imavov has such great takedown defense, and he sported that really well against was it Brendan Allen? Yeah, he showed it off against Brendan Allen in his recent fight against him. Imavov was just like, the takedown defense was immaculate. I think Brendan Allen shot for like what, 10 to 15 takedowns and didn't get a single one, or maybe got one out of him. But yeah, Imavov looks really good, and he's up and coming. And I know he's gunning for a fight with Sean Strickland, likely because he just wants to rectify it. But I think he should be gunning for the belt instead. But I don't think he will. I think they'll give him the fight against Sean Strickland, or not. Maybe Sean will fight Dricus once again. I don't know. It depends on what the UFC likes and who the UFC favors most. But there's a lot of different avenues for that. I just want to see Imavov fight Dricus before I can truly call Dricus the solidified owner or the certified owner of his division. But yeah, I look forward to seeing what he can do, but I think Dricus is just about there. Next up is light heavyweight. It's Alex Pereira. And let me see, did I have... Yeah, Alex owns his division. I'll say he owns his division. I just want to see him fight Jan one more time. I think he beats everybody else at light heavyweight pretty soundly. Even Magomedov, Magomed Ankalaev. Isn't Magomedov? Even Magomed Ankalaev. I think Alex beats him too, because Magomed doesn't really do well with leg kicks at all, and Alex has one of the best leg kick techniques in the UFC. If not in MMA in general. So I think Alex will chop the leg and then go to the head and then just knock Magomed Ankalaev out probably in the second round. So I think Alex pretty much owns his division. I just want to see him fight Jan Blachowicz one more time, because I don't know. I feel like that fight went to Jan. And it's just because it depends what the judges value at those certain times. And recently the judges have been really valuing wrestling and grappling styles. So I think if the fight was to happen, you know, now or in the future, I feel like the judges will give the edge to Jan Blachowicz. So I want to see what would happen, you know, specifically. So I want to see Jan fight Alex again. I don't know if he will, but I would say Alex owns his division. He has the tools to beat everybody, and that's just who he is. But I think that Jan Blachowicz fight is the outlier, and I want to see that fight again, because Jan may have what it takes to beat Alex this time around. But yeah, I think I'll say Alex owns his division. And then last but not least, finally, we're at the heavyweight division. The champ is Jon Jones, one of my favorite fighters. I don't care what anybody fucking says about me. I love Jon Jones. I'm not saying he's a great person outside of the octagon, but inside of the octagon, he embodies greatness. He is the perfect fighter. It's just who he is. He's relentless. He is deadly. He utilizes every nasty technique there is in fighting, and that's why he's a fighter. He's, like I said, he's the embodiment of a fighter. It's fighting. It's not a pretty sport. It's a very ugly sport, and you break bones and you tear faces open. That's what it is. And Jon does that. So I love Jon for it. Again, I'm not calling him a great person outside of the octagon, but inside, he is a monster and the greatest fighter to ever fight. So yeah, we got Jones. He's the champion there. I'm gonna say he is neither the owner of his division or the non-owner of his division, and I'll say it because he's retiring. I fully believe that John Jones will retire after beating Stipe, so I'm not even going to include him in this whole ranking system. I think he's out the door after this fight against Stipe, and then they'll give the unified belt to Tom Aspinall. And yes, Tom Aspinall will own his division. I think anybody who fights Tom will get their ass knocked out pretty early too. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for this ranking. I just want to go through the UFC men's fighters and let y'all know who I think owns their division and why. So you let me know what you think. Happy to discuss as long as we're respectful to one another. Love you guys. Like, comment, share, subscribe, but most importantly, subscribe. I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next.